दिलाना कभी न भूल जाना ये जीवन 2 दिन का ये जीवन है 2 दिन का आगे क्या बोलूं
It feels like yesterday, but it's been 3 years since we shifted to this village to live our countryside dream. We will never forget that day. It was a new adventure for both of us, two bearded city boys. Everyone promised, but no one came to help. One of us did multiple trips on the scooter, and the other carried the stuff climbing the steps. We were dead tired by the end of the day, but we hugged each other as we were super proud of our team effort. Later in the night, our reward was the chula or the mud stove cooked meal by Dadi. Coming from the capital city with no rural ancestral connections, first we had to learn the village way of life. We started by exploring the forest with our neighbors. We were trying to find mushrooms, but instead we found the skull of a deer and a serene waterfall. We spent the initial days getting accustomed to the slow village life, driving scooter on the narrow but dangerous forest roads, trying our hands at carpentry, learning multiple things from Dadi or Granny, using tools, making rotis, and using the chula or mud stove.
अब फोटो भी कीजिएगा अपने मम्मी पापा को बताना ये जगह जला रहे हो नमाज
There is a common saying in natural building that you should start small. Dadi was kind enough to teach us and trust us in building her kitchen wall. It was her first tiny project. It wasn't best of our work, but the wall is still doing fine. There were frequent electricity cuts, sometimes for 4 consecutive nights. We can't complain because those were the most beautiful nights.
माटकी मसेडी सुबनो माटकी मसेडी सुबनो तय बलू लगो द सुबनो मेरका की गसेरी सुबनो लुआ गड़ी पाट सुबनो लुआ गड़ी पाट सुबनो तय मिलन आयो सुबनो गरबा कर छोड़े सुबनो ठीक है वसड़ा में समझ तक
Dadi trusted us with another tiny project. We had to help her repair and rebuild the retaining wall of the house we lived in. It was a great learning experience before we built our own retaining wall for the mud house. We worked with a professional stone mason and successfully repaired the wall in dry stone masonry. It was high time that we experimented with cob, but before that we decided to make a mesh with a bamboo frame. We saved some local subsoil, Dadi chopped some straw, and Ansh jumped into the mud for his first cob making experience. कैसा लग रहा है अंश?
बहुत बढ़िया
And of course, Jamie couldn't resist. We wanted to experiment building with cob, but at the same time make something useful. We decided to make a rocket stove for Dadi, based on the guide of the Himalayan Rocket Stove Company and the Smokeless Cook Stove Foundation. The Smokeless Cook Stove Revolution by the SCF seeks to train the rural, migrant, and tribal population with the skill of making a virtually zero cost, efficient, and improved cook stove that has a considerably reduced smoke output. We started by mixing clay soil that was rich in sand content, adding straw that was 3 to 4 inch long, and stomping it. We added puffed rice for additional insulation. Now we wanted to make clay donuts, rings of 3-inch thickness with a 6-inch hole and 6-inch height. We did not have a metal mold for making rings, so we did what Indians do, jugaad or frugal innovation. We used a spare laminate around the 6-inch pipe. We made several rings and left it to dry for a couple of days. We cut a slot with a slight angle for the flame to come in and spiral in the chamber. We rolled a cardboard over the pipe. We added some mud mortar or wet clay soil between the two rings. We used a pipe for an additional airflow to the burnt chamber. We plastered the surface smooth and even sculpted over it. We made a pot holder tripod that would allow the smoke to escape. We let the rocket stove dry for 4-5 days and then fired it. This tiny win gave us the much needed confidence and motivation to start our journey of building a hand sculpted mud house.
इसको गुस्सा आ रहा है इसका नाम रॉकेट रहना है ओ आगे आग ऊपर जाएगा
हवा चली उड़ जाना, बारिश लगी गल जाना, आग लगी जल जाना, ये जीवन 2 दिन का, ये जीवन है 2 दिन का.
If you're new to this channel, hello, we are Raghav and Ansh, two brothers who moved to the countryside to live a more meaningful and intentional life. If you enjoy watching videos on mountain life, countryside living, or natural building, please consider subscribing our channel and sharing it with your friends and family. And don't forget to press the bell icon.